Good morning, everybody. Let's talk about the next 45 minutes on barriers of communication. Please keep on paper and pen ready for later use. Now, what are the different barriers in communication is what we are going to discuss. What exactly is a barrier in your opinion? Barrier is something which obstructs what is given. That means I send a communication, either it reaches or it doesn't reach, or it reaches in a distorted form because a barrier has acted upon it. So what all things can go wrong? Because ideally we want what I have conveyed, the same thing should go to the other person with exactly same meaning. And in communication, it may or may not happen. And most of the time it doesn't happen because according to Murphy's law, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. And communication is one example where things can go wrong anytime. So unless we are clear about what we want to convey, and unless we find out from the other person to whom it has been sent, whether that person has understood it exactly the same manner that we wanted that person to understand, there can be misunderstandings. So let us see what all misunderstandings can be there because of barriers, so that when we send a communication, if it is a crucial communication, we don't do those mistakes. So one is preconceptions. We have something in our mind, and based on that preconception about that person, we interpret the communication. The person would have sent with one particular assumption. I would have received it with another assumption. The assumptions are not same. Mine is different from the other person's assumption, and therefore there is misunderstanding. Assume spelling is A-S-S-U-M-E. So assume stands for you are making an ass out of me. You are making a donkey out of me. So never assume. And if there is an assumption, both assumptions should be same. Then there will be correct understanding. So I'll tell you something to read here. I want you to understand. Tell me what exactly you understood from there. Read this, and then you can put in the chat box. What exactly is Mr. Ram? And what is he trying to do?
The position,
Please, can you mute everybody?
Yeah. I'll mute myself. Finished reading? You can put in the chat box, and as long as you are replying to me, I have no problem unmuting. But otherwise, if there is any external noise, please keep it muted. So what is Ram? We can talk. Is it such a...
Yeah. I think only his assumption that he was meant for the better position or higher position. He assumed that, but it was not correct.
So he is so what you are telling, first sentence should be like, he is somebody looking for a job, and he saw that there is a vacancy, and he got qualified for it and applied for it, but did not succeed in that because he was probably overreaching. It is beyond his capability. That's what Vasudeva sir is telling, huh? Anybody agrees or anybody disagrees with that, or everybody's opinion is same thing?
It is same. My understanding is same.
All understanding is same. Because all of us have got the same assumption that when it's an application, application is an application for a job. No? Is application, the only meaning is application for a job, or any other meaning of application is there?
Application is to apply ourselves to the a particular task also.
Yeah. So you are
Past,
Yeah.
yeah, money,
What?
position, everything, yeah.
on the wall, you apply paint also.
Yeah.
So that is also an application. Now, what if I tell you that he was actually a mistri or a painter trying to paint a ceiling? Now read with that assumption, we see whether it makes a perfect sense or not, even with that assumption. He was reading a newspaper and then suddenly looked up. And he found that there is one place where it is left unpainted. So there is a vacant space there. And an application of paint need to be made there. And he is quite qualified for it because he was a painter in any case. But the paint ceiling was high, so he needed to reach. So he needed a stool or ladder or something. He climbed up. But then he's standing in one place, he was trying to reach the place which was beyond his reach. And he lost his balance and fell down. Does it make
This
sense?
is absolutely perfect, yeah.
It is completely.
I'm telling a story about somebody painting a ceiling and a qualified painter. And because our preconception is that, application means job applications, vacancy means vacant job role is available. And is qualified means. So it looks like a joke, but otherwise, this is where we go wrong when communication. Na? We think anything the other person tells us fits exactly into the mold of our assumption. That person has told a totally different story and we understood another story. Whose mistake it is? Neither my mistake nor your mistake.
It's our mistake.
It is actually in the sense, the person who is speaking, that person's mistake. Because I want the communication to be understood by you. So onus is on me, not on you, because you don't know anything. You are there to listen to me. I communicate because there is something that I want to convey to you. I want something to be done by you. I want something to happen. I want some knowledge to come to you. It is my responsibility to make the ground proper so that what I say exactly comes to you in the manner, in the meaning that I need to. So the responsibility is not with the listener. You can't tell the listener, hey, you never understand properly. I've been telling you so many times. I mean, if you have to make a statement that you never understand properly, and I made it say that means the mistake is not the listener's, mistake is mine. I have not told it in a manner that you can understand. So ask what are the assumptions whenever you communicate. You don't have to ask exactly in the same manner. So you can tell this is what I mean by saying that this is the context. So unless people understand the context, there can be misunderstanding. So preconception is one barrier which leads to a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunication and wasted efforts. And finally, we get hurt also because we are thinking that person will do something, but he is not doing it. But we never told that this is my expectation. So first barrier we talked about is the preconception. Jumping to conclusions is another one. We are in a hurry. People open their mouth and start talking. He said, yeah, I understood. I exactly know what exactly you are talking about. So let's see. Let's just see this story. A businessman had just turned off the light in the store when a man appeared and demanded money. The owner opened a cash register. The contents of the cash register were scooped up and the man sped away. A member of the police force was notified promptly. So now there are some statements 1 to 5 up to 5, 6. Which of these statements are true and which are we don't know whether true or not because there is insufficient data. A man appeared after the owner had turned off his store. Is it a true statement? Store light. Is it a true statement or an ambiguous statement? You don't have data for that. Say.
It's true.
It's true, you said. Who said that? Murli sir.
Only, yeah.
Okay. Everybody agrees? It says a man appeared after the owner had turned off. Whereas the story says a businessman had turned off. And we assume that businessman and owner are the same. There is no data to prove that. But we jump to the conclusion businessman and owner should be same. So we don't know. Maybe same, may not be same. But we have jumped to the conclusion. Sorry for making it.
Okay, right.
But then this subject requires this sort of gimmicks. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it won't stick to the mind. Na?
You're right. Yeah.
So it is, I mean, anybody will give the same answer. And when I underwent this training maybe 20 years back, I also gave the similar answers. So don't feel bad about it. Hey, Vijay Kumar is calling and making fun of us.
No. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. The man did not demand money. True or false? So now people are careful. No, a man did not. He demanded money.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true. The man who opened the cash register was the owner.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Because now it is clearly written the owner opened. It doesn't talk about businessman opened. Now it is true. The man who opened the cash register was the owner because it says the owner opened a cash register. The store owner scooped up the contents of the cash register and ran away. Store owner scooped up the contents of the cash register and ran away.
Not true.
Can't say.
Can't say. We don't know who ran away. We don't know whether the person who came as a thief or, as a person who demanded money, whether he scooped up or the owner scooped up. Just says contents were scooped up and the man sped away. One more, it says man sped away. When you talk about sped away, that is always refers to a vehicle. You are speeding away in a vehicle. If you are running, that is using your own legs. Now here it says he ran away, but the question is says ran away. So that is also doubtful. So if you use that ran away, then it is a false statement. And who ran or who sped, that is doubtful. Someone opened a cash register.
It's false. It's clear. The owner is open.
Someone. The owner is also someone. No? Cash register opened by somebody. Here this is additional information that it is the owner. So that is true statement. The robber demanded money of the owner.
True statement. Don't know.
Who? Yeah, Jyoti?
Don't know.
Don't know. Correct. How do you say that chap was a robber?
It says a man.
It never says there is a robber entered.
Robber. Yes.
So we are, because that police word is there, we think it is a robbery attempt. Maybe that his friend has come and demanded the money. And police was notified promptly for some other things. Maybe
Police is one of his friends.
is his friend. Member of the police was notified because that mutual friend hai. So तुम्हारा friend आया था पैसा लेके गया. So here is a case of barrier because we jump into conclusions. First was preconception. Second is jumping into conclusion. So lesson is whenever there is anybody talking, give them all the time so that they can convey everything that is required. Because half information you are arriving at a conclusion and the judge says, no, that is not what I meant. Yeah. What I meant is this one. It is unnecessarily distracting to the person who is speaking and it is insulting to the person because you are not able to listen properly. So that is this barrier. Word meaning not understood. I'll show you a small.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Thank you. Now I am doing it after many days now, no? Because otherwise earlier it is everyday's activity. So now it is once in a while activity for me. So looking at these pictures, what is the emotions that we can make out from this picture? First of all, what exactly are these pictures? Whose story is it?
Yeah, it was recently in Academy Awards that something happened. No, with he
Will,
showed something.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
That is Will Smith on the right
Yeah.
side, and Will Smith's wife, Jade
Yeah, he
Smith.
made a joke, personal joke on her hair.
Chris, I think Chris somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a comedian and he was anchor for that ceremony. He made some jokes about Jade's hair because she's suffering from
Cancer.
some autoimmune disease called ecophagia, where you lose patches. It's not like me become entirely bald when that is age related, but because of the autoimmune, where our cells are fighting against our own cells, patches come out. And therefore, because she has shaved, and you're making fun of that. So, what is seen in the first picture? She's
In the first,
Yeah, she's
Happy.
enjoying.
she's enjoying.
Yeah, she's enjoying, but it may not be enjoying also because she's sitting in the front row for the award ceremony. And these are all VIPs, these are the celebrities. So, even if you are not happy, you have to show that you are happy because the entire camera's on you. So you can be smiling without being happy, and looking at her, you can make out that it is not a very, very happy smile. There is a tinge of sadness because she's undergoing a medical problem. So, but she's smiling because that is the thing which is expected. And somebody is making cracking jokes, and if you have a serious thing, and it will be photographed, videographed by the camera, and it will probably broadcast across the world. And nobody wants to be seen as somebody who is glum and is sullen in an award ceremony. But then when he made a joke, you can see the facial expression change all of a sudden. She's thinking, rolling of the eyes and what exactly is happening here? Why is this person making fun of me? And same thing initially, Will Smith also was smiling. And what is the last picture showing?
anger,
He's crying.
disappointed, angry.
He's crying, of course, but then crying is not sadness crying. It is more of
Angry.
angry, disgust. You can show that disgust, right? What sort of man is making fun of a sick wife? My wife is sick. Now, when there are emotions and we try to convey anything to somebody, it will not work. Even if, say, when somebody is disgusted, you say, don't get disgusted, is it going to make an impact on that person? And somebody is crying and you say, don't cry. There's no point in telling don't cry, but that person has to cry because the person has got a problem to cry. So we have to customize our communication based on the emotion of the other person. Otherwise, we may come across as very, very insensitive person. So always and the understanding of the other's emotions and tailoring our communication on exactly what is required at that point of time, that is called empathy. If empathy is not there, relationship will not survive. Whether it is in the office, whether it is at home. So, if somebody is feeling sad, and you can make out from the face itself, or you can make out from the voice, all that you have to do is say that you are looking upset, you're looking sad. You're not going to ask, why are you sad? Because that becomes a question. You don't say, don't be sad. That becomes an advice. You don't say, hey, you're always like this. Yeah, your face always looks sullen. And that you are branding a person. So never interpret, never brand the person. Never question the person. Never probe. What happened? Why are you sad? There is a question. And never advise. Don't be sad. It is not good. And the person is sad. There must be a reason for it. Identify the emotions and put your own words. Because anything else will act as a barrier. The message is not going to go through. And instead of somebody thanking you for the advice, they will say, I was in such a bad shape, and he started his lecture. And people will not come to us. So that is, know the emotions, because emotions will act as a barrier. Not speaking up due to fear. Now, I joined the Indian Navy in 75. I was in Goa for 76 to 79. We are fresh officers. And three of us, the same seniority, 3 batchmates who had joined. And our commanding officer was one Commander Satchar, 6 feet tall, Haryanvi Jat, very tough looking. And he called 3 of us and gave some instructions. And his voice, the tone also was not very clear. We couldn't understand the English properly. And we could not even tell him that, sir, we are not understanding what you are talking. Our general strategy was there will be 2-3 people any case together. After we come out of that his office, then we'll ask, hey, what did he say here? And this time again, I asked other my friends, hey, he was telling something, I couldn't understand anything. What did he say? And both of them said, even we are not understood what he said. That means 3 of us went there, listened to his 10 minutes instruction on something to be done, but none of us understood, and we never spoke up in front of him because of fear. We think that, we'll clarify later. That later doesn't happen. And there is a story on this one. Now, one person wanted to buy a parrot. It's a pet parrot. He went to a pet shop, and the owners of the pet shop said, the parrot speaking, etc. is an old story now. I got this time a new chicken which can speak. Not in one language, it can speak in 5 languages. Why did you buy that one? Oh, I said, yeah, fantastic, yeah. Parrot speaking, everybody knows. Now, chicken speaking, and that in 5 languages, I had never heard of it earlier so far. He said, yeah, yes, good, good. Nicely send it packet, and this is the address. I'll pay the money, 10,000 rupees, and send it to my house. I want to surprise my wife when I come back home. So the owner did accordingly, and the parrot, the so-called chicken, was sent. And evening he came rushing. Yeah, I will demonstrate to my wife how the chicken is speaking in 5 languages. He went, entered. You could get a good smell of chicken curry coming in. He said, did somebody send a chicken to you in the morning? He said, yeah. Somebody sent a chicken, and I made a nice chicken curry for you. My God, I paid 10,000 rupees for that chicken. And he made chicken curry out of that. Wife said, how do I know what is wrong? Why you have paid so 10,000 rupees? What is so special about him? Ordinary chicken. No. 10,000 rupees I paid because this chicken can speak in 5 different languages. I wanted to show it to you. So she said, if he's such a great person that he can speak in 5 different languages, why didn't he tell me in one language at least that I'm so and so? I'm not meant for eating, I'm meant for speaking. So, if you do not want to become Murga, better speak up. Don't let the fear to stop us from talking to the other person, because in that case, you will be slaughtered. In the office, you will be slaughtered if you don't speak up for your positions, if you don't speak up for your rights. So that is what they say, be assertive. It doesn't mean that you become aggressive. You have to become assertive to the rights that we have, all of us have. Fear is the one which stops us from doing that. That acts as a barrier. Now, and because of the fear factor, like project manager asks, hey, kitna kaam ho gaya? General standard, sir, 90% ho gaya, sir. That 90% will be done in the first 2 days. The rest 10% will take probably another 10 days. People are not coming out with the exact status because I'm worried, I'm scared that my boss will criticize me for not doing the work. So 90%, never believe anybody under you when they say 90% ho gaya. You ask exactly kya ho gaya, which are the points which are supposed to be done, or uske itna kitna ho gaya, so that you are not fooled by this 90%. Because 90% acts as a barrier, and you are confirmed. Oh, 90% is over, only 10% remaining. But the 10% will probably take 3 times what has happened for the 90%. Now, I used to conduct role plays in the proper class. I put this IG, AG, OP labels on the head. I send the 3 people outside the class, and I'll put one sticker and stick it here on one person's IG, another person AG, and third person OP. And I tell the class, IG stands for anything this person says, ignore it. AG, anything this person says, yeah, fantastic, agree. He may be talking nonsense, but agree to that. And OP, anything that person says, just oppose it for the sake of opposing it. And the poor people who have gone outside the class, they do not know that this is the label they are having on their head. And we call them, 3 of them, and give them, okay, now there is a, what should we do? What is that we need to do in the, should be India's stand on the Russia-Ukraine war? Is a topic. And the moment the IG person starts speaking, everybody looks other side, just ignoring. And he is wondering, mera koi sunna hi raha. When the AG starts running, everybody's like, yeah, fantastic, very good idea. That is what it is to be. It's such a great idea has got. And the OP person says the same thing. Hey, don't talk nonsense here. This is not how it is to be done. And after 3 minutes, they are totally flabbergasted. क्या हो रहा है हमसे? जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ उसको सबको oppose कर रहे हैं, इसको इग्नोर कर रहे हैं. And AG वाला सोच रहे हैं, जो मैं कचरा बोल रहा हूँ, तब भी people are listening properly. So I told them, no, we put labels on people's heads. We consider one person as an expert. Whatever nonsense that person speaks, we are correct. He can't be wrong. And we put another label, another person that, he is no good. Maybe one bad experience we had earlier. When he was not very knowledgeable, kuch bola hoga. But that label carries on. And anything that person says, we have to oppose it or we have to ignore it. So never put labels on people's heads, because even if they are telling something sensible at this point of time, this barrier stops us in being able to accept it. And all human beings are prone to this sort of thing. It's not. So knowing that this can happen, yeah, maybe they were stupid earlier, but maybe there is this particular subject is talking about, there is some sense in that. May not be 100%, maybe 50% sense is there. That much I must accept from that person. No? So don't put labels. Tone. The same one sentence can be told in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways. If I put a stress on I and speak like this, I never told you, you stole it, means I didn't tell, somebody else had told. I never told you, another meaning. I never told, I may be written. I never told you, I told somebody else. I never told you stole it. लिख के गया बोला था, stole करके नहीं बोला था. I never told you stole it. इसको चोरी क्या नहीं बोला था, दूसरा कुछ चोरी क्या होगा. The same sentence, different stresses on different words gives a totally different meaning. So what exactly is the meaning people want to convey? It has to come from, and there are some people who can't use the stresses correctly. I never told you stole it. We don't know what exactly the person meant. Earlier example I had given, must have given an example. The boyfriend, girlfriend, there was a fight between them, and the girlfriend told the boy in this particular tone, don't kiss my hand. Stress on the don't. Means nothing to do, get out from here. But she puts in another way, don't kiss my hand. Means kissing is not allowed, but hand holding is allowed. Don't kiss my hand. Don't kiss somebody else's hand. Don't kiss my hand. It 4 साल से hand ही कर रहा है वो साला. And this chap doesn't understand the change of tone on a different syllable. So he says, "We break up." He wants to go up and he wants to break up. All because he couldn't understand the tones. So exactly, I mean, when we talk, we should put proper stress where we want, because If you don't put stress, the speaking can be very, very bland, and the exact meaning of that, what you want to convey, will not be understood by the person. Poor expressions, sentence forming very wrongly. For example, if you say, if you don't like waitresses, you should see your manager. What exactly is the meaning to be conveyed, and what comes across? If you don't like waitresses, you should see your manager. क्या करना चाहता है, क्या बोलना चाहता है, क्या inference आता है?
If you don't like the service or waiters, complain to manager.
Correct. That is what he wanted to talk.
Yeah.
But this can also come out as waitress is ugly. You should see the manager. He is more ugly. It is not service. She is ugly. Look at the manager. He is further ugly. More than that. This is to the jargon. A woman called the HP printer desk with a problem with her printer. A techie asked her if she was running it under Windows. And the woman responded, no, my desk is next to the door. But that is a good point. The man sitting in the cubicle next to me is under a window and his printer is working fine. Instead of, she doesn't know there is something on the MS Windows. Not necessarily that everybody uses computer will know Windows and operating systems and things like that. So for her, window is a window. For us, cookie is something on the internet and it says accept cookies. If we tell the dog cookie chahiye, for a dog it is a biscuit. And we say deleting the cookies means eating the biscuit. And I don't know, I'll maybe repeating this because I must do it in some other class. Naval training completed 6 months in Cochin. Then we were coming by ship to further training in Bombay. And I was standing in the upper deck of the ship, putting on uniform, enjoying the beauty of the Arabian Sea. And one sailor came and smartly saluted and said, sir, compliment from captain. I said, thank you so much. Again, he repeated because he understood that I had not understood what is the meaning of compliments. 2-3 times he repeated, sir, compliments from captain. Then finally he said, sir, when captain sends compliments, इसका मतलब है आपको गाली देने का है, आप आ जाओ. You have done some mistake, captain has to give some warning to you. He is calling you, please come, because when officer is sending a message to another officer, he is not going to, and through a subordinate person, he is not going to say usko bulao gali dene ka hai. No, send my compliments. So I went there, saluted. Then he said, hey, you're standing in the upper deck in uniform, but when you are in uniform, you should put your cap on. Where is your cap? I didn't know. I had only completed half the training. So complete training nahi hua tha. So compliment is a word which is taken as, somebody has complimented me. Where here in the Navy, the jargon is that, it is used for calling people for warning purposes in a very, very dignified manner, which others not supposed to understand. But everybody knows in the Navy. But dignity hai. Gali dene mein bhi dignity hai. So each industry will have its own jargon. Na? So if you don't understand the jargon of my industry, and suppose business people making a presentation to the finance department of a customer, I mean, making a technical department of the customer, they will know. But you are making the presentation to a finance department where you want to say, oh, this is the budget going to be. And you fill up your presentation with all the technical jargon. The finance people will be totally at loggerheads. You will not understand what exactly he is talking about. So if you are talking about a jargon, explain this is what it is meant by. After 95, I started getting memory problems. Can be after the age of 95, I started losing memory. Or after installing Windows 95, my computer memory became less. I mean, it was not sufficient to run the RAM. Earlier used to run with 1 GB, 1 MB, 2 MB, 3 MB, etc. and 4 MB. So after that, now it is GB. And if you put your GBs, the random access memory, the working memory, if it is not increased, Windows will not work properly. And Windows 95 is there. Importance is silence. Sometimes you have to talk, sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut also. There is one story, you can read this story, and after that we'll wind up. One night a man was walking towards when a thief suddenly pounced on him. The victim and thief had a terrific tussle. They rolled about on the ground and the victim put up a ferocious fight until at last the thief managed to overpower him and pinned him to the ground. The thief went through the victim's pocket and searched him all over. He found only 1 rupee coin. The thief was surprised and asked the victim why he had bothered to fight so hard for a 1 rupee coin. The victim said, "Acha, you wanted only that 1 rupee, is it? I thought you are trying to search for that 500 rupees in my shoe." Was it required to open his mouth? Could I kept quiet? Some places there's no point in talking. Be silent, because talking will be more dangerous. It will give more harm rather than keeping silent. But people have to open their mouth for no reason, because बात नहीं करेगा तो सुनेगा लोग क्या सोचेंगे. So there is a place for talking, there is a place for listening, for keeping quiet. I understood way earlier, 73, I finished my MSc. Then there was an interview for Delhi cloth mills. Those days there are no MBAs. They used to take any graduates as management trainees and train them. So Delhi cloth mills ka interview tha udhar Chennai mein. So I went all the way, passed all the aptitude tests, because in any case I was MSc mathematics, so aptitude test was not a problem for me. Then there was next line was group discussion. Group discussion, I am from a village and 10th standard the Kannada medium. English was not all that great. And I was the youngest. There are all other people at least 2-3 years senior. So 2-3 years senior in age and all from the city. And their beautiful English. I did not open my mouth in the group discussion. So obviously if I don't open the mouth in the group discussion, I will not be selected. So I got the first jolt of being rejected. That was Delhi cloth mills interview in Chennai. So there is a place to talk, there is a place to keep quiet. And should know where it's intelligent people know. Kab baat karna hai, kab chup baithne ka hai. So this one I conduct in actual role plays. I mean, I'll just skip through. So there is from commanding officer to his deputy makes this statement. There is going to be total eclipse of the sun when the sun disappears behind the moon for 2 minutes, and this is something that cannot be seen every day. Time will allow for employees to view the eclipse in the parking lot. Staff should meet at the lot at 10 to 11. When I will deliver a short speech introducing the eclipse and giving some background information. Safety goggles will be made available at small cost, was the message from captain to his deputy. Now, deputy goes and tells his deputy. And it's oral transmission. So, half of them are mixed up here. So, today at 10 to 11, all staff should meet in the car park. This will be followed by a total eclipse of the sun. After they meet, there will be eclipse of the sun, which will appear for 2 minutes. For a moderate cost, this will be made safe with goggles. The CEO will deliver a short speech beforehand to give us some information. This is not something can be, that means what CEO is giving is not something that happen every day. Now, uska deputy ke paas jata ho information for delivering to other people. The CEO will deliver a short speech to make the sun disappear for 2 minutes in the form of an eclipse. This is something that cannot be seen every day. So staff will meet in the car park at 10 or 11. This will be safe if you pay moderate cost. Then comes next level. 10 or 11 staff are go to the car park where the CEO will eclipse the sun for 2 minutes. This does not happen every day. It will be safe. And as usual, it will cost you because worker level. Finally, to the lowest level, staff will go to the car park to see CEO disappear. And it is a pity that doesn't happen every day. Now, this one, similar to this one, I conducted a class for this Karnataka State Reserve Police Force battalion here near Mangalore. It gets into such a hilarious thing. And what I start with something totally ends up with totally different story. And 3-4 lines becomes single line. And it comes to like somebody, and then they come out with their own stories. They said, there is a requirement of, there is a riot situation happening somewhere in Hubli. And the order came that, at 6 o'clock, 2 trucks have to go with the police force so that, you can take action there. By the order passed, it happened at 2 o'clock, 6 trucks should go. Instead of 6 o'clock, 2 trucks, it became 2 o'clock, 6 trucks. So oral transmission, there is a loss by forgetting, and that is quite dangerous. So I am through. I'll stop the share, and I hope all of you understood the meaning and enjoyed the session.
Sir, it was a wonderful. We enjoyed a lot. It was a wonderful session. Very, very.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Refresh.
So it's always better to keep it in writing, sir, rather than words.
Yes.
Sir, there is a one incident I would like to share about. If you have time, 5 minutes time, because
Yeah, I have plenty of time.
So it's about the language. So na certain languages, the legs or car का बताया था आपने, कुछ different होता है आप वो
Car.
हाँ. So it happened to me once. I was in Mexico a long time ago, and one of the receptionists of the hotel where I was staying became my friend, and she used to help me to translate some English words to Spanish because I was not good in Spanish at that time. So she was just helping me to communicate in Spanish. One fine day, I was getting ready to go out for a meeting in the morning, and she called me at my intercom, and she said, "Victor sir, do you have Durex?" I was stunned. So what? Do you have Durex? I said, "No, Veronica, I don't have." She says, "Yes, sir, you have it." I was more surprised. How can she say that? That is apparently that I have it. I was looking here and there. Where? So no, I don't have it. But why are you asking me? No, sir, you have it on your desk. I said, "How can you say that so firmly?" Because the person who cleans the room, he saw it. I was surprised. I was looking in my drawers, because I was not having. So okay, I sent that person. I said, "Okay, send the person to the room," and immediately a person came, and there was a cello tape in plastic. So this is Durex. I said, "This is Durex." Okay, take it. I was surprised why she's asking me, because she was desperate. I need it now. I did it now. You're working. No,